Here we go, folks. Another daily tangle pattern. This one is called Canomo by Anoska Wardenberg. I apologize if I butchered your name. This one's kind of looks a lot like, a bit like Cadent. This one is one of the few that I practiced this weekend, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful tangle. I like this sample she's got with part of it just kind of peeking out with other things. But you know, most of the time I'm doing a mono tangle with these daily patterns. Basically, it starts with a grid, but it's an every other. So there's a square and a dot and a square and a dot, and then alternating a dot and a square, dot and a square, square and a dot, square and a dot, dot and a square, dot and a square. So it's an alternating pattern grid with dots and squares. And then step number one is you take from the dot to the square, or you could draw from the square to the dot, but I think it's easier for me to draw from a dot to a square because you have a bigger landing pad over here to hit. And then you turn your tile and do it the other way, from a dot to the square, going the other direction. All right. Oops. You didn't see any of that, did you? I am completely out of frame. It's because I started zoomed in. I apologize. Okay. Let's get this. Okay, let's try again. All right. Step one, grid. Step two, swoop it over from the dot to the square. Step three, swoop it from the dot to the square the other direction. Step four, from the dot to the square, but twice, like a little triangle. Step five, dot to the square, going the upside down. You just keep turning your tile. And then step six, same thing. Turn your tile again and do that same movement so that you end up with that same triangle, kind of curvy triangle, going all the way around that square, right? So it makes this pinwheel. Makes a pinwheel around the square. And then you can do variations. You can, you know, aura. You can make stripes on the pinwheel square. Whatever. You know, do your thing with it. I found it easiest, and like I said, this is one of the ones I did practice. I found it easiest to do myself a little dot grid first in pencil, just completely a dot grid. Two, three, four, five. That's all right. Okay, so I did it like that. I just made myself some dots in pencil. Then I went and did the alternating dot grid. That way I didn't forget what I was doing. So one's a square, one's a dot, one's a square, one's a dot, one's a square, one's a dot, and then it's opposite. So that one's a dot, then this one's a square. If that one's a dot, then this one's a square. And you'll notice my squares are not all the same size. They're not all square. Some of them are rectangles. You know, I like a more organic tangle. You guys all know that. So the inconsistency doesn't bother me. Some people, the inconsistency bugs the crap out of them. And, you know, if you need to get and pencil lines and really do up the grid thing, you know, go for it. I'm not gonna There's no such thing as the grid police. Nobody's going to come out and say, oh, you shouldn't have drawn it with a ruler first. You know, do what you got to do. But, you know, I like them more a little bit wonky. Just because then when I draw, I know my lines aren't going to be perfectly straight. And if I start out with something that's like perfect to start with, and then I have my kind of crazy lines, sometimes I feel like it just detracts with having some things that are really super perfect. So, okay, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so you guys can see. And then we're going to go from the dot to the square, just like on the sample, right? So I'm going to start up here. Dot to the square, right to the corner, dot to the square, dot to the square, dot to the square, and just this simple, right? Dot to the square. Okay, step 1, dot to square. Step 2, turn it around and do it the other way. Okay? Got that? Step 3 is to turn it just a little bit so that you don't get yourself confused. And then you're going to do dot to the square again. You're aiming from this dot to this square. Okay? Straight up the row. This dot goes to this square. And do one here, and then do another one which makes like a triangle. Okay, got that? Let's do that again. Dot to the square and make a triangle. Dot to the square and make a triangle. Okay? So it's all the same move. Dot to the square, make that triangle. Dot to the square, make that triangle. Okay? And then flip your tile around and do it again. Dot to the square, make your triangle. Dot to the square, make your triangle. This is where it gets a little harder to find your dot. See, that's not that one, it's this one. Okay, this is the dot. And it would be a triangle there, but I'm not sure how I want to finish that side off, so I think I'm going to leave it without a triangle. But I am going dot to the square. Okay. I missed this side, didn't I? Oops, and I missed one right there. Wait, dot to the square and a triangle. And I missed this one. Dot to the square, dot to the square. All right, that's better. Okay, oh, I forgot there was that umbrella over my head. I just bonked my head on it. Oh, oh well. Okay, so then turn it, right? And you're going to do the same thing. It's already got the dot to the square, so then you just need to make the triangle. Right? It's got the dot to the square, you make the triangle using that same motion here. So it's that one, it's this one, it's this one, it's this one, it's this one. Okay, I'm going to turn it all the way around and do it again. It's already got that line, so now you just need to make that triangle. Okay, I've missed some. Since I didn't go around in order, I missed something here. It was this one. Okay. There we go. That's the basic pattern of this one. And then we can embellish it in a variety of ways. I think this one's really cool. How do I want to embellish it? I don't know. What do I want to do? I think I am going to go ahead and aura this. Every other one maybe. And that would be this one. And it would be this one. That looks good. Yeah, that looks good. I feel like it needs something round. Can I put a ball in these other ones? The one that... Well, that's interesting. I like that. I'll note that some of them are much different size. That's okay. I'm just trying to make sure that my ball hits the edges on. Okay. I want this. Really weird, all of a sudden this book that I'm reading just popped into my head. You guys ever read books and then, you know, that whole storyline and the movie that's in your head when you read the book just keeps going around and around, and you're wondering. The thing about reading a book, especially longer ones, is that you really, it's like having a movie that's got multiple parts, and there's no ending. You know, it's not like a trilogy where there's sort of an ending, a resolution at the end of the movie, and then you go, wait sometimes years for the next movie to come out. Reading a book that's got multiple super long chapters is kind of like watching that movie, but then you don't get to resolve. It's just like the movie turns off, or like it's when it comes to a commercial, right? If you're watching it on TV, it comes to a commercial and then it doesn't come back. You've stopped, you've put it on pause, and you've walked away, and you don't finish the movie, and you're making up in your head what you think might be happening next. Really good book. I'm really enjoying it. It's actually a series of 4 books. I believe I'm on book 3 now. Quite invested in this family. So I will miss them when they're gone. When I've finished all 4 books, I will miss this family. I really feel like I really know them. Over the course of the time in this book, this couple has gotten married and had 2 children, and the children are now grown, and I just feel like I know them. It's really very strange. If you're interested, I guess I could put a link to book 1. Down in the notes. Remind myself to do that. This is, what's the name of this tangle? This is Canomo. Link to book 1. Link to book 1. I've made myself a note so when I upload this, I remember to put that in the description. There we go. This one didn't have, not dark enough, but that's all right. Okay. Needs a little bit of shading. I'm going to shade one side of these, and I'm going to shade 2 sides of these. Make sure you get your shading right up against the edge. If you leave a gap, it looks funny. You only leave that gap if you want your item to feel like it's actually floating. But I don't want these to feel floating. I want them to feel attached. Okay, blending, blending. It's almost time to clean those blending stumps off again. And a little. I feel like I need a skinnier blending stump for some of these things. I may pop into the Hobby Lobby and buy myself a package of blending stumps. I have to go there today anyway, so remember to do that. Grab myself a. Sometimes there's a skinnier one, and I don't know what happened to my other really skinny one. It seems to have been lost. It happens. All right, I like that. Okay, so this is, I'm gonna do it like this. Canomo. I like that. I think she's done. All right, everybody. You have a blessed day. I will see you tomorrow, and you know, keep tangling. Enjoy your day. De-stress, right? All right, everyone. Bye-bye.